Hey, welcome to another Legion Live brought to you by PrivateLabelLegion.com. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about split testing and how some subtle changes can make your listings be more profitable. Anyways, before we get to it, I just wanted to say, if you like what you hear today, if you like the knowledge that you're picking up, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, ring a bell, do whatever you have to on YouTube, or go to our Facebook group and give us a like. Also, it's so important to Tim and I that you engage. If you have questions, let us know. If it's not on this platform, let us know. We always get back to you, and it might not be within the hour, but we always do get back to you. All right, so let's get into it. What is split testing? I'm not sure if a lot of people, especially newer sellers, are using split testing. It's also called A/B testing. What is it, and why should I use it? Well, first of all, a split test is just taking variations, multiple variations with either your product to see if maybe an image is better. If I have a certain image turned a certain way, if I have different lighting on it, which one looks best? Or you might be competing against a competitor. How's that word? So you might have your product and your competitor's listing, and which one will convert better? Who likes it more? And then you can either go back to the drawing board or try to get a different style of image. It might be on an iPhone, and you might have to go to a product photographer. But at the end of the day, this helps you compete against the competitors a lot more, and it eliminates a lot of the guesswork. So I've been in branding for years, I think since the 90s, maybe even earlier, but I've been involved with branding since the 90s. I think I'm creative. I think I know what people want. And when I use split testing or focus groups, I'm wrong. I can't believe how many times I've been wrong. And it could have been by 5%. It could have been by 95%. But it just goes to show that you just don't know the market, like the demographics sometimes. And one of the things I love doing is the Brady Bunch. Okay. I don't know. I'm an old guy. Back in the 70s, there was a thing called the Brady Bunch. I use the Brady Bunch strategy. I take all my competitors or all the images that I think are going to be are worthy of the listing, and I surround them. I send them in, and I get people to vote on them. So I might have 7 pictures of my competitors' listings, what their primaries are, and then I have my listing. I usually start off with what image works best first on my listing. So I'll take, it could be anywhere from 2 images to 7 or 8 images and get voted, see what is the best converting image for first of all. And then I use that against my competitors. So if I am equal to or close to being equal to or above, 2 thumbs up, it's great. If it fails to be in the top, then I've got to go back to the drawing board. I've got to see why it didn't convert. And sometimes it just fails miserably, and it just tells me it's a quick fail. And I either have to improve the product, improve the shots, or just move on. And if it's at that point, and maybe you're just doing, this is important too, maybe you're doing product research and all you're doing is a 3D rendering. So you don't even have the product, you're just testing the product. It's a quick way to fail quickly or to know whether this is a product that you want to continue with. So great for product opportunity and discovery. So why use it? One of the main reasons for using the split testing is because you can increase your conversion rate. You can increase the CTR, so your click-through rate and your conversion rate. So what does that mean? More sales for you. Amazon's going to give you a little bit of love because Amazon loves high converting products. And if you're that high converting product, you're going to get people over to your, well, if it's a high click-through rate, you'll have a lot of people going over to see your product. And if you can convert, then you're going to have a high conversion and then Amazon's going to promote you. Now, here is a tip. If you have a product that you're providing a lot of different bad images or bad titles or whatever you're trying to get the information on, you can get on page one. You can definitely get on page one. There's all sorts of different ways to do this, but you can't get people to click on a bad listing. So this is one of the main reasons why we use this type of split testing. And the other thing, it helps increase your perceived value. So not only do you get an optimized or a better quality listing, a more profitable listing, but imagine, I've used this on podcasts before where I've had, this is a real life, real product selling on Amazon, launched at $49. And by changing the perceived value, the look and the quality of the listing through split testing, it's up at 100. It changes between 99 and 124, depending on the season. So 49 to 99 to 124. And so that's all due to, well, it's due to a lot of things, but primarily quality split testing. And we know what we're looking for and we get the results. Now, the other thing that you might not realize about split testing is it can increase the overall customer experience. So if you have that great listing and you know what people want, and you know by testing this that people love seeing, it could be the title, it could be the way you write your bullets, it could be your A+ page, but you're increasing the overall customer experience. Now you add that awesome listing to good or great customer service, incredible packaging, again, split testing. And if you have recurring sales, you've got a slam dunk. So as long as people see quality from the beginning, quality through the transaction, and quality when they touch and feel the product, you will have a client for life or a customer for life. And one of the things that stops people from buying your product is trust. So the more that they can trust your product, if they see a product that's shot on an iPhone with really crappy, just an overall crappy look or really horrible spelling, they're not going to trust your product. There's too many other products out there, too many competitors out there. Now, one of the things that you can do is, well, how do you use split testing? First thing I do is I like to research. I research a lot. I research my competitors. I go onto Google. I'll go into, it could be Walmart. It could be eBay. It could be, if it's a pet product, Chewy. But I check all my competitors, not just Amazon. Amazon is probably 80% of the research that I'm doing, but I'm taking a screenshot of the overall listing above the fold. So above the fold just means what you see on your computer screen, and everything below it, I'll do that at like sort of a second phase. But I want to see the primary list or the primary image, the slide deck that goes down the side or across the bottom. I want to see the title and I want to see the bullets and the price, by the way. Next thing is finding filters that will help you build your demographic. Who is your demographic? You have to know this before you get into split testing. If you are selling an ice cream maker to somebody who's involved with fitness, I don't think that's going to sell. Now, I personally tell my wife all the time that ice cream is healthy, and that's the reason why we should have an ice cream maker. But I think you get my drift. There's all sorts of filters that you can use. And in the right application, we use PickFu is one of the companies or apps that we use. And they provide age range, female or male homeowner. Do they own a cat or a dog? Are they prime or are they not prime? And they have a lot of other filters. And so it's so important that you utilize these and you know your demographic so you can sort of drill down and get the right people answering the questions for you. All right. What do you use it on? Most of the time, I find when I talk to new Amazon sellers that they're usually using it on images, and that's fine. A lot of people will use it on images or titles. Well, let's step back and you start right at your brand name. So if you're writing or if you're creating a brand and you're stuck on a few names, or if you've got several names, put that out there. You've got a graphic artist that just created a logo. Get what the feeling is. Sometimes you're going to hear, especially if you've got a bad graphic artist, that the logos all suck. And you just know at that point, you've got to spend a bit more money and get a real graphic artist. Package design. I mentioned a bit earlier. It's the easiest way to increase your perceived value is the quality in the packaging, how it's presented, because that's going to be part of not only the image of of your Amazon listing, but it's also going to be that touch feel when somebody receives the package, and they're going to see it, they're going to love it, and they'll either tell their neighbor, or they'll tell their neighbor how much your product sucks. So I like the first version. All right, the next part is the images. But images, I'll take a variety of different images. I'll see what my competitor's doing. Maybe everything is facing right. Maybe I'll try facing left. Maybe it's on a diagonal or straight on. It might be a 3D rendering. So I'll give you an example, like on cotton products or pillowcases or sheets. You have wrinkles, and sometimes a graphic artist can take that out, but sometimes you need a 3D rendering to be a quality image. And so there's all these different variations you can do just for images. And then there's the slide deck. So you've got this slide deck that, a lot of people just slap up the slide deck. Those are the 7 images that you see. You can put up 9, but anyways, they're there. And I just throw it up with no thought. Here's a way that you can take, maybe the best converting way to show your images. It might be light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. It might be with the product, the primary product. It could be with a lifestyle picture, and then maybe the product on its side, and then a benefit or an instruction. But you manipulate it and you play around with it. And you can also add, like through PickFu, you can do it 8 times. Well, what converts the best? It might only be 0.5% that, will change their mind, but it's 0.5% more that will click on your product. Now, titles are so important. So images and titles are the big one for me. If I have a title, I want to have that keyword phrase. I want to also see if there's anything engaging. What's a pain point? What am I going to do to get somebody to buy a product? And if I'm targeting prime users, I'll get a good idea if the keyword phrase that I'm using, maybe a couple of keywords in the title, if it's a long title, if it's a short title, if they like to see multiple phrases in there, a pain point. You have 8 times. Well, there's 8 slots that you can fill. And typically I find a winner in there as well. Bullets. Bullets are the same thing. A lot of people just throw out a bullet. I've seen it where it's long lasting and then this book. I've seen features and then a book. And then I've seen benefits and then a book. And then I've just seen some really incredible engaging content. What works best? Does the long information work better than the short information, especially on mobile phones? That's something that you can test. And you can also test your competitors' bullets and see if what you're writing, your copy, if it's any better than the competitors. Also, the order of your bullets. People don't think about that. It's just like the slide deck. What people see first, what people see last. They're going to see your first, second, third bullets. Those should probably be your most important, most engaging, the ones that are going to convert. So think about that. And then you can move on and we can go through like the A+ pages or EBC, but A+ pages and the images and the content there, your store, so important, but same thing. But I'm sure you're getting the gist with all of this. One of the other areas that's usually not thought of is the price. You have great packaging, you're planning or you're playing around with your listing, and you're going out with a bottom dweller, price. You're going to get volume rather than sales. You're thinking that that's going to drive sales. But when you optimize your listing and you can see what people are going to pay for it, you can go to, or you can ask a question on PickFu, but you can use an app like Splitly to see where the sweet spot is. And I mean, you could test it yourself as well. but these apps will basically get you the information very quickly. Again, I would have never thought that a $49 product, the optimal price would be $99 to $124. So I missed out on a ton of profit, and we would never have known if we didn't split test. All right, so what do you expect? Managing expectations is everything. A lot of the times, if, like I said, if you're putting out an iPhone picture and the 8 images that you're using are iPhone pictures that you're getting split test, well, you're only going to get the best iPhone picture. So if you're using crap, so if you've got a crappy image or a crappy title and you've got terrible copy because you don't want to spend any money on real good copy, well, crap in is crap out. All you're going to do is get the best or the highest converting crap, if that makes sense. So try to make sure that you're at least competing with the quality of your competitors. Dollar-wise or percentage-wise, it's hard to say at the beginning because you don't have anything to compare it against. But if you're starting to see that you're ranking or you're getting a lot more organic sales, your PPC's taking off, maybe you're using some other form of strategy, maybe you're using a rebate or search, find, buy, or you're using influencers. But anyways, you're starting to see sales come in, great. What you don't want to do is stop there. Split testing is not just for the product launch. It's also for an older or more an exhausted, something that's old and maybe it's lost its ranking, lost its sales history, and you want to spritz it up a bit. It can also help there. You can bring it back. Now, the difference is that you might want to layer it in a bit. Layer in the images first, layer in the titles, layer in the bullets, and see what is working. You don't want to do it all at once because that could cause a tailspin as well. And then finally, with the launch, the spritz up, you have the maintenance. So somebody that's done either of those two, if you continue maintaining, you've got tons of competitors. It's not just the supplements or the baby categories. Everybody's got competitors. So if you're using or if you're working with a listing, you want to make sure that the split tasting that you did at the beginning is maintained. So you just do it once in a while. Do it, once a quarter, do it every 6 months. But anyways, at least you're monitoring, and that's so important when it comes to split testing. All right, what does it cost? So this is where if you're listening and you're sitting on a chair, most of you will fall off the chair if you're new. And this is important because if you are new and you're on a budget, you don't have to do everything I just mentioned. We can break this down, and I'll talk about how to prioritize this in a second. But what I don't want you doing is breaking your bank. If you've just come off that course that you've spent a lot of money on, and you're hearing this, Tim and I don't want you going and spending money that you don't necessarily need. This is especially if this is your first product. So I would test with the primary image and the title. What's this kind of going to run you? It could be anywhere from $50 and up. Typically, it'll be about a couple $100 for the average split test, but it could be as high. If you do what I said earlier and you're playing around with everything, it could cost you $1,000. It could cost you a couple $1,000. But at the end of the day, try to do that with a focus group. That would cost you tens of thousands of dollars to get that information. It's so easy to get the information that you need at your fingertips within 15 minutes usually, or even sooner, so that you can move forward. And usually you can take quick action, or you know whether to cut bait or not. Now, going back to the newbies. So if you're new, there's something called paying your Amazon tax. And it's not really Amazon tax, but it's things that may cost you money because it's the first time you're doing something and you did it wrong. I don't want that to be the case. I want you to try to use your images, play around with those images, play around with your title. And if that works and you're finding success, start doing some of the other stuff once you start making money. If you have the capital, no problem. But proper capitalization is very important when you're doing a product launch. And if you're new, sometimes that doesn't happen. So work within your budget. The other question that I get is, when should I stop split testing? And the answer is never. You never stop split testing. Your competitors are never stopping. They're going to continue to come on, especially during COVID. We're getting so many competitors coming on that it's just, it just helps you as a seller to split test ongoing. And there are a few that I would recommend: PickFu, Usability Hub, and Splitly. So PickFu is the main one that I use. Usability Hub's pretty good too. It's lesser known, and Splitly is really fantastic when you're looking for optimized price. And they also have a variety of other services as well. So I think that's about it. I don't see any questions. So please remember to use split testing not only as part of your product launch, but also as part of your long-term strategy for Amazon or any e-commerce or your website, Shopify site. And that's it for today. So I just wanted to thank you for listening. And if you like what you heard from about the split testing, give us a thumbs up or subscribe or ring that bell or whatever you do on YouTube, or check out the Private Label Legion Facebook group. We have tons of free content, or our website, privatelabellegion.com. It's all free content, so it grows every day. If you are an Amazon or e-commerce seller and you are looking for a bit more, some private mentoring or some group mentoring, we do have the Centurion League, where we get into specific questions, and we work with groups twice a week, as well as an e-com and training area. So check it out. It's called the Centurion League. That's it. I think I sped through there as fast as I could. Have a great week, and see you on the next Legion Live.